Hi everybody, thanks for pressing play on the video today. It's Caroline here from craftycarolinecreates.com. For today's project we are going to make one of these really gorgeous little gift boxes. These are a few that I made. I did make a lot of these because these were part of my thank you gift for all of my customers that shopped with me in November. And I made them in a real range of colours, being inspired by this designer series paper, which is called Blooms and Bliss, and it is just beautiful. So the box, this is a belly band that slides off, and then the box has a little envelope sort of flap, and the front peels down so you can see that DSP in all its glory, and then inside the customers found 2 reels of this gorgeous sparkly shimmery ribbon. So this one was Mint Macaron, this is Island Indigo, I think this is Blushing Bride. I did a huge range of colours, basically taking inspiration from the DSP. I also did some Sahara Sand. I just think they are really beautiful gift boxes, and they're a really good size. You know, you can fit quite a lot of things in there. Let me see if I can slide this belly band on. So all of my customers that shopped with me last month got one of these boxes with that gorgeous ribbon, and they also got a copy of the Pun Intended stamp set, which is a Hostess exclusive, but I was able to get that for all of my customers. Thank you to everybody that entered the Hostess code to help me be able to send out these beautiful gifts. If you are ordering online, I would appreciate it if you do enter the Hostess code, if your order is less than £150, but I do send a gift to everybody that shops with me. And this is a really lovely fun stamp set, some really witty little sentiments and some nice, very useful little stamp sets. So hopefully the customers really appreciated that. But today I'm going to show you how I made the box. So let's move these out of the way. We can get on and do that. So I'm going to bring in my scoring board. There we go. If you can just about see the top there. And we're going to start by scoring a piece of cardstock. I'm going to do this one in Sweet Sugar Plum. So this measures it measures 10 5/8 of an inch by 3 1/4 inches. All of the dimensions, as always, are over on my blog, craftycarolinecreates.com. So if you miss any, you can pop over and see that, and I'll put a direct link to the blog post in the description bar here on YouTube. So we're going to start by scoring this along the long side, and we're going to score it at 2 1/4 inches, at 3 1/2 inches, 6 7/8 of an inch, and 8 1/8 of an inch. Okay, and then what we want to do is at this end is we want to notch it out at, just put a tiny little dot at the 1 inch point, so really just a little indentation. Flip it over and do the same on the other side, a little dot at 1 inch. Okay, and then turn it round, and at 1 5/8 again put a little dot, just so all I'm doing is just pressing on with my scoring tool at that point. And what that will give you is just some 3 little dots on your cardstock, which we will use when we make that little envelope fastening, that envelope opening in a moment. Put that to one side, don't put the scoring tool away just yet, because we are going to do some scoring on a piece of designer series paper. So as I said, this is the Blooms and Bliss DSP, really gorgeous. You know, I'm not a massive DSP fan, but how could you not love this? I'm definitely coming around to DSP, aren't I? So we're going to have this side showing out, so we're going to score it with the other pattern showing up. And this measures 7 3/4 of an inch, yep, by 5 3/4 of an inch. As I said, all dimensions on my blog. Score alongside, we're going to start by scoring at 3 1/4, and then we're going to score it at 4 1/2. Turn it round, and we are going to score it at 1 1/4 inches and at 4 1/2 inches. Okay, perfect. Let's do this first. Let's take our scoring tool and just go along those score lines. This is what I love about Stampin' Up! DSP. sticky, absolutely no cracking at all. It just folds and scores so beautifully. Okay, and let's just do those little lines on our sweet sugar plum cardstock at the same time while we've got the bone folder going. Okay, and then all we're going to do to make up this box is, if I show you on this side, you can probably see the score lines a little bit better. We're just going to cut up here and here, so we're just cutting up to where that score line goes in the opposite direction. Flip it round and do the same on this side. There we go. Okay, and then I'm just going to notch slightly out those little flaps that we've just made. And a bit narrow on that one. There we go. You know, it's actually really nice when I was making these boxes. I think, like everybody, I've been doing so much Christmas crafting recently. It was really nice to actually be using some different colours other than sort of reds and greens and icy colours. So, to fold this up, we are just going to put a little bit of fuse on 2 of these flaps on the same side. Just like that. Okay. Fold these 2 little ones in, and then just fold up your box and press those sides together. 1 and 2, just like that. Okay, and that is basically our box made, and then this is our wrap that's going to go around it. Now you remember those little dots that we made? Can you see them there? Yeah, and there and there. I'm just going to take our scissors, and you could do this on your trimmer if you want to make it perfectly accurate, but I think you can get a good enough result just using scissors. I'm just going to cut between them on a diagonal like that. There we go. Okay, and that's our little flap made. Okay, and then this is just going to stick down like this. There we go. And that then folds over nicely, just like that. So I'm just going to put a little bit of Tombow. Tombow getting quite low now, isn't it, on the bottom, and a little bit of Tombow on the back. And I'm not going to put any on this side. Now you could stick this down if you want, but I like the way that when you open it you get a full feature on that beautiful DSP. So just pop that down at the bottom like that, line it up at the back. Tombow does give you a second just to make sure you are perfectly aligned. There we go, just like that, and that will fold up. And then to keep our box closed, I should have said, make sure you make these, when you fold and burnish, make sure that they are really sharp, and that just helps to keep it together. For the decoration on the front, I can show you on this one, I've used here, this is the Stitched Shape Framelit dies. So I've already cut that out, and I have used, I can show you the dies. Remember, you get 12 dies, and we're going to use the second largest of the circles. So you get 4 circles, 4 ovals and 4 squares, and I just love these. I love the way it just adds that additional interest. You don't need to layer it, you know, you can just use it like that, and it's beautiful. But we're going to do a bit of stamping. So I've got some rich raspberry and some sweet sugar plum inks. Let's pop the my little circle underneath some on a foam mat even, and I'm going to use the Coordinating Blooms and Wishes stamp set, which is new to me actually. I only got this really recently, but it is really beautiful, isn't it? It's a really pretty stamp set. So what I've mounted up is the greeting for you, which is a really lovely font and a very useful sentiment. And we'll stamp this, I think, in Sweet Sugar Plum. I'm just going to stamp that in the middle of my circle. Hopefully that's quite central. There we go. Okay, and then I'm just going to do some feature flowers using oh, that's stuck to the other, it's come off its block and stuck to the other one. Using this flower and this flower. They are a little, sorry, didn't see that, did you? This flower and this flower, they are a little bit bigger than they appear on the stamp set cover in real life. So you can see that it's a little bit bigger than the one in the picture, but really lovely for making little sentiment features like we're going to do now. Just going to grab a little bit of scrap cardstock. Ah, real red. Of course it will be real red. How much real red has everybody used over the last few months for our Christmas crafting? Lots. It is nice to be using some other colours for once. So we're just going to ink those up and just stamp them down. This is Rich Raspberry, did I say that? I think so. Just stamp them down like that as a little feature to lift that sentiment out a little bit. Okay, move this out of the way, keep this. And what we need is another one of these circles, which I have lost somewhere. So I did cut another one out, but it's gone missing. So what I'm going to do for speed is I'm just going to grab one of my punches and I'm going to punch out. So this is the 1 3/4 inch circle. But you can always do what I did when I was mass producing these, was I cut out some more with the die. But this will work. And we're going to close that up, lay this on top, and forgot the ribbon as well, sorry about that. Oh, here it is, Sweet Sugar Plum ruched ribbon. Might be a little bit matchy, but let's go with it. And a glue dot to begin with. Okay, so I'm just going to put a glue dot on the end of my ribbon. And then I'm going to stick that down to this circle that I cut out. And then just going to wrap that round. And another glue dot would be handy now. Just going to pop that down there. There we go. So pull your box closed and pull your ribbon round. So you want to make this tight, but not so tight that you can't take the belly band off to put some goodies inside. Just like that. And then a little bit of Tombow. Come on, there's loads left in you, I'm sure. There we go. Like getting every last bit out of my Tombow. And it does seem to last a long time. But this one might just be about to run out. And then I'm just going to pop my larger circle on top. Press that down. Okay, and I'm actually going to then slide that off because I don't want to make sure that I don't want any Tombow to squirt out and stick this to the box. So just going to press that down like that and give that a minute to dry, and then you can slide it back on. Just give that a second more. What do you think of the stamp set? It's lovely, isn't it? And the papers are just stunning. Okay, we'll pop that back on. And there we go. It's another colour combination. Maybe the Sweet Sugar Plum ribbon and cardstock is a little bit much, a little bit matchy. Goes quite well with the Bashful Bride? It's not, whatever it's called. Can't think what it's called now. But this, I'll put on my blog what this cardstock is called. It's a lovely pink with like a more of a grey undertone. Blushing Bride, not Bashful Bride. Blushing Bride, that's what it's called. So there we go. Just a lovely, very sweet, very elegant, and very quite quick to make gift box. As I said, if you'd like to receive a present like this in the post next month, it would be my honour and pleasure to place a stamping up order for you, so do not hesitate to get in touch. You can shop online on craftycarolinecreates.com, or you can drop me an email, craftycarolinecreates@gmail.com, and I'd be more than happy to get in touch and help you place that order. Thanks for watching. See you again soon. Bye bye.